Does she have
Yeah.
to say that again?
Okay, may we have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Robertson,
Present?
Vice Chairperson Paulson,
Here.
Trustee Gower. Quorum is present.
Any public comment before we start the meeting? All right, seeing none, we'll move right on to item number 4 for possible action, approval of the minutes from the February 20th, 2019 meeting. Any discussion or changes?
There's just that one change on the page 2, or number 8, the date should be February 20th, 2019.
I fixed it, Madam Chair, so it's fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, so then is there a motion to approve with that one change?
I move to approve the minutes of February 20th, 2019.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. The motion carries. Item number 5 for possible action is adoption of the agenda for today's meeting. Anyone want to make any changes to that?
Nope.
Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the adoption of the agenda as published.
I second that. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Again, the motion carries. So, item number 6A for possible action, presentation and discussion regarding the approval of the OPEB Trust earnings report for the third quarter of fiscal year 2019. And we'll have Sherry Russell present, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So again, this is the earnings report for the third quarter of 2019. And I am very happy to report that the earnings lost in the second quarter have been, we've regained them. We've recovered them as we expected to do so. At the end of the 3 months, or the 9 months, we have a 3.9% earnings ratio. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
No questions? Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the OPEB Trust earnings report for the third quarter of fiscal year 2019.
Second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Item number 6B for possible action is a discussion and possible action regarding the approval of the OPEB trust activity for the third quarter of fiscal year 2019. Again, Sherry?
Yep, thank you, Madam Chair. So I've included with your materials the activity for the trust for the 9 months ended. These should always, the monthly P&L column should net to zero in a perfect world where there were no retirees, nobody passed away, and everything was exactly the same. They would net to zero. However, we always have people retiring and coming on the plan or passing away and going off the plan. So right now, if you take out the prepaid, there's about a $634.56 balance. That should true up in the following month. We have cash at this time of $1,243,868. Again, we've only been in business for 3 years, so that's not too shabby. And I don't really have anything else to report unless you had any questions.
So the city contribution, did we already do that, or is that?
The city
for-
contribution is $80,000. That's from last year.
Okay.
Because we had cash flow issues, so we only transferred 120
Mm-hmm.
last year and then the 80 this year. I believe I am going to be able to transfer the entire 200,000 that was budgeted in June.
No other questions, so is there a motion?
I move to approve the OPEB Trust activity for the third quarter of fiscal year 2019.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion carries. So item number 6C is for possible action, discussion and possible action regarding acceptance of the Carson City, Nevada OPEB Trust Fund's audited financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2018 and 2017. Again, Sherry?
Yep, thank you, Madam Chair. So please stop me if you have any questions as I go through this. But first and foremost, I want to report that we had an unqualified opinion. That's on page 1 and 2. That's the highest opinion that an auditor will give you. So, yay. Management's discussion and analysis begins on page 3. This is the condensed version of the financials. If you don't want to read the entire thing, definitely read this. Since there are comparative statements in the back, the MD&A has to show 3 years. It has to show 1 additional year. So as an accountant, I find it kind of neat that they've got the 16 since inception all the way through 18 on this financial. On page 7 and 8 are the actual audited numbers. At the end of fiscal year 18, we had a net position of $1,130,087. On page 8, you can see that we added $373,372 to the net position. That comes from city contributions and earnings. It's that $120,000 I talked about in the last item, plus $200,000 from 17. The way that GASB 74 requires us to post things, we can only post it when it's put in. We cannot do a receivable because it's not legally restricted. So that plus the earnings minus the administrative expenses is about the $373,000 that we added. On page 9 starts the notes to the financial statements. This is an integral part of the financial statements, explains in detail each of the numbers, the policies we use, the benefits that each of the groups is entitled to. On page 12, it explains the total liabilities and all of the actuary assumptions and how they came up with those liabilities. Page 14 breaks out the actuarial estimates and shows the effect of just 1% change on the health costs that they used, the health trend cost and the discount rate. So it's pretty drastic, the change. And then required supplementary information is on page 17 through 19, which breaks down the actuarial data, contribution data, and earnings, and that'll build to 10 years. That's got to be a 10-year schedule. We did get a letter from our auditor. We always do. It's a required communication. I included that in your packet. And I'm happy to report they had no significant difficulties encountered during the audit. They had no uncorrected or corrected misstatements. They had no disagreements with management. We did not consult other auditors because we disagreed with what they were doing. And there were no other significant matters, findings, or issues during the audit. So they had no recommendations. This was a 100% clean audit. For fiscal year 19, and I kind of was hoping for a little feedback here, I was going to add this as a fiduciary fund in our CAFR. So it would be audited by Piercy Bowler during our normal audit procedures. That's going to save us the audit fee that we're paying to Eide Bailey.
So Eide Bailey would be out.
Right, we wouldn't have to have a separate audit like we do now because it would be audited as part of our CAFR. Now, we have to do this in fiscal year 2020 because of a GASB 84 that's coming out. We have to add it to our CAFR then. I'm just electing to do it a year earlier to try to save us the extra audit fees.
And does that go with what the bylaws say, that it can be done as part of the city audit?
All it says is we need an annual audit.
Okay.
So it will be audited just as part of the CAFR.
So that new GASB, does it say it needs to be a fiduciary fund or it could be special revenue fund? Or?
No, it has to be a fiduciary fund because it's not, it's a completely separate entity.
Okay.
So it'll be a pension fiduciary fund.
Yeah, we used to have it as a fiduciary fund and then we had to move it out and then we're going back, so.
Yeah, well, it was done as an internal service fund.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then, going forward, then the board won't see separate financials?
I don't take the financials to the Board of Supervisors.
No, I'm at this board.
Oh, this board, no, but I will definitely still present the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move to accept the Carson City, Nevada OPEB Trust Fund's audited financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2018 and 2017.
I second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. The motion carries. So our final agenda item today is, well, not really. Item 6D for discussion only, just consideration of dates for our next meeting. And usually, Sherry, we ask what works for your office, if you could give some suggestions.
I looked at August 21st or the 28th. Do any of those dates work for you guys? I believe they're Tuesdays. Let me just double check. The 28th and the 21st of August and the 28th are Wednesdays, actually.
All right, so we will aim
28th?
for August 28th.
Okay.
1 o'clock, 1:30?
1 o'clock works for me.
One more invitation for public comment. All right, seeing none, then for possible action, are we ready to adjourn?
Yes, I move to adjourn the meeting of the Other Post-Employment Benefits Trust Fund Board of Trustees.
And I second that. So this meeting is adjourned at 1:25, May 29th. Thank you.